It's been 12 years since China and Britain signed the agreement on Hong Kong's future. Yet, the political scene today is still anything but calm, perhaps even stormy at times. Will the high degree of autonomy promised under the one country, two systems policy be fulfilled? Many in the territory remain sceptical. In exactly 259 days, the British Crown colony of Hong Kong will become a special administrative region of China. The countdown has begun to this historical moment. And in the next 6 episodes, Hong Kong Connection will examine the many facets of life in the territory as its people prepare for the big day. On September the 26th, 1984, China and Britain initialed a draft declaration on the future of Hong Kong. 3 months later, the document was ratified.
I believe we have secured such arrangements and that the agreement is a good one. As a result, the people of Hong Kong can, I believe, face the future with confidence.
Mrs. Thatcher's words turned out to be anything but persuasive. An opinion poll in 1984 showed that only 16% of respondents had complete confidence in the agreement. 76% had reservations about it, and 30% thought that the idea of one country, two systems would not work.
當時我哋覺得都幾興奮，因為我哋為香港辦咗一件大事，所以咧當時嘅心情咧就係即係放落嚟2年之內談判嘅大石，就認為香港咧將來嘅高度自治同埋港人治港咧就根據聯合聲明咧就會達到嘅。
Appointed to the Legislative Council in 1978, Alan Lee was among the EXCO and LegCo members who shuttled between Beijing and London to reflect the views of Hong Kong people.
Thank you very much. We'll see you later.
我覺得咧就呢個聯合聲明咧所提到法律同埋個司法體制方面咧，我本人就覺得就冇得彈啦。
我睇到聯合聲明出嚟嘅時候係好開心嘅，即係香港咧係可以透過呢個一國兩制高度自治港人治港咧係一定會有前途嘅。咁但係艱難，咁所以我覺得咧一定咧應該多啲人出嚟係參與，希望搞好呢件事。
To ensure that locals would be in a position to govern Hong Kong after 1997, Martin Lee took part in the first Legislative Council elections in 1985. In that same year, China appointed him to the Basic Law Drafting Committee. Another appointee was Maria Tam, who at that time was an executive, legislative and urban councillor, as well as a district board member.
中國睇我咧就開放啦，啲香港人嚟睇我保守。咁而家咧我就相信同中國對話，呢個係不合潮流嘅。1991年係不合潮流嘅，但係鐵一般嘅事實係一種確實嘅需要，亦都係一個正確嘅態度。可能到1995年嘅時候咧，人哋唔會因為我相信同中國對話咧，夾硬將我遊紅。
To make sure that Hong Kong would indeed enjoy autonomy, many believed that democratization should be speeded up. That was when the Basic Law Drafting Committee was working on the future political system. Due to strong opposition from China, Britain backed down on democratic reform. Plans for direct elections to the Legislative Council in 1988 were scrapped, on the pretext that political development in Hong Kong had to converge with the Basic Law. Self-rule in Hong Kong had suffered its first setback. In June 1989, when the student-led democracy movement in Beijing ended in bloody repression, 1 million people in Hong Kong took to the streets to commemorate the victims. The event also posed a serious question on Hong Kong's future. An opinion poll showed that more than half the people felt that the June 4th incident had weakened their confidence in the concept of one country, two systems. 90% of the people hoped that Hong Kong would have more democracy after 1997.
Democracy is not perfect, but it is the best form of government. It provides the checks and
Alan Lee
balances.
put forward a consensus proposal. Immediately after the handover, half the seats in the legislature would be returned by direct elections. During the second session of the legislature, the chief executive would be directly elected.
兩個共識可以講6·4事件促成嘅，為咗兩個共識啊，但例如啊，我啊去英國同首相講啊，所以咧就即係英國不但唔睬我哋，仲話我哋唔准咁奢望，所以呢啲嘢都係歷史嘅事實，唔係話我哋唔爭取。但係咧最緊要就中英雙方都同意咗啲嘢，如果同意咗啲咧，我哋有直通車啊嘛，即係整件事啊。直通車係最重要嘅。
我唔可以跟兩個嘅方案。點解我咁樣做呢？我知道當時係群情洶湧，我知道行政局同埋兩局同埋兩局嘅同事冇法子唔推呢一個方案出嚟，爭取更大嘅民主。但係我知道當89、90、91年一過咗之後，如果我哋冇直通車，我哋只係將個問題咧擺咗喺1995、96、97，咁因此我仍然係去支持直通車。
你其實係覺得銜接比任何方案更加重要。
個細路仔可以長得大，比個細路仔長到一半死咗係緊要。
The Basic Law was passed in April 1990. It stated that the majority of seats in the legislature would be filled through indirect elections, while the chief executive would be chosen by an election committee and be subsequently appointed by the Central People's Government. It would take until 2007 at the earliest to amend the selection process. Self-rule for Hong Kong had become little more than empty talk. The same month the Basic Law was promulgated, Martin Lee, with a group of democracy activists, formed Hong Kong's first political party, the United Democrats of Hong Kong.
喺呢個好非常困難嘅時候，我哋組成，係想對香港都有承擔。唔通話中國唔中意我哋就唔爭取咩？呢個係咪香港廣大市民嘅共同意願呢？如果唔係，咁係咪我哋應該跟住民意？我哋係唔能夠屈服，係會繼續爭取呢？
In 1991, the first direct elections to LegCo were held. The United Democrats won 12 of the 18 elected seats, indicating that voters supported its stand against the June 4th massacre.
Number 3, Sam Ho, Martin Lee, Lei Chu-ming.
The 5 candidates from Maria Tam's Liberal Democratic Federation of Hong Kong, regarded as pro-China and conservative, failed to win a single seat. In July 1992, Chris Patten arrived for his inauguration, minus his ceremonial attire. The difference between this governor and his predecessors would turn out to be more than superficial.
I'm keen that we should explore, in parallel, how to develop our representative institutions to the maximum extent within the terms of the Joint Declaration and the Basic Law.
Following the June 4th incident, Britain's policy on China changed. Soon after taking office, Patten proposed political reforms that would speed up Hong Kong's move towards democracy.
香港水急兩岸遙，平安過渡要靠橋，夾江猶如夾千里，嘈罵之聲何時消？副主席先生。 我一向為人樂觀，但現時我心情沉重，有風雨欲嚟嘅感覺。我去勸彭督，去過幾多次我都唔記得咗，為咗一個政改方案，成盤嘢打散晒，所以我覺得即係比較有感觸嘅呢啲。
坐直通車嘅原意係好嘅，但係咪表示我哋就可以逢車必上？ 唔理佢載我哋去邊度都上車呢？我哋必須確保港人坐上嘅係一部跟隨聯合聲明嘅軌跡，把港人載向 港人治港、高度自治嘅目的地嘅直通車。
Hong Kong's political reforms led to a breakdown in Sino-British relations.
陈德刚先生将来历史上要成为香港的千古罪人。